Over the past week with the new Studio Display and Mac Studio, I've been absolutely itching to create a new setup for you guys. And finally, we have the perfect modern setup for both of these machines. We both know that's a lie because this is going to change in the next few weeks. But I feel like for now, let's at least appreciate this because I love making these videos, I love watching these videos, and so do you guys. So let's go ahead and check out this setup for my Mac Studio and Studio Display. Now this time we have a new approach, soundproofing everywhere, a darker vibe with a ton of new goodies to show off. Let's start with the desk for my Dawson. It's the perfect size for what we've got going on down here. 63 inches in width and 31 inches for depth that raises from 24 to 50 inches in height. It comes in with a max load of over 150 pounds and it's super simple to set up. Now you guys know that me and wires never really got along, so like most of my setups, the three focus points were productivity, minimalism, and no wires, which is why I love this combo so much because you only have one wire connecting from the Studio Display to the Mac Studio and it's a Thunderbolt cable. That's pretty much it. The power cables themselves are running underneath the desk, so you won't even see those, which is why I love this setup. So clean, so minimalist, and it looks absolutely fantastic. If you do have a ton of wires, those cables are then met with a nice mesh management system below the desk, so you won't have to worry about going out of your way to hide any of them. Best of all, you have a desk that's very sturdy and has one button that controls everything. With the custom soundproofing on these sides, IKEA made it rather easy yet again for me and didn't really break the bank. We have a few plants on the top that reflect nicely off of the 6-inch Molnar LED bulbs below. I love these because they're simple, cheap, and they don't flicker, which makes them perfect for videos. For the mouse, believe it or not, we're still rocking the glorious Model O wireless, and I've added yet another one into the mix. I absolutely love how responsive and light this mouse is, and you guys know me, I've tried them all. I've tried to fall in love with the Logitech MX Master 3, but this one just feels way more precise when I'm using it, and I like the fit better. For me, this is my favorite go-to mouse in pretty much any scenario. Now, to accompany the Model O, we have this new Magic Keyboard from Apple that you guys just saw me unbox. I love the look and feel you get with this when you type on it. It feels just as good as my M1 Max MacBook Pro, and now you get that same Touch ID button at the top, which makes it super convenient to use for a ton of different scenarios. Now I have been going back and forth between the Magic Keyboard and my MX keys from Logitech that you have seen in my previous setups before, and you can't really go wrong with either keyboard. I love both of them, both are fantastic, except Apple decided yet again to go with USB Type-C to Lightning with this new keyboard. Woof. I would like to mention the MX keys does feel slightly better to type on, and it has support for both Mac and Windows, with the ability to shift between 3 different setups at the push of a button. Now it's very easy to connect through both Bluetooth and its USB receiver with up to 5 months of battery life with its lighting turned off, which is absolutely crazy. It also has the Mac commands on the keyboard itself that mimic your Apple products that you're using it with. Now next up, time blocking is critical to productivity when you're staying busy, which is why we still have this dope digital timer from Amazon. I have a ton of these laying around, and honestly, this paired up with a notepad and using Notion has been super useful for me. All my notifications on my devices have been turned off during work hours, so I'm only checking calls and emails. I set a priority of things that have to be done throughout the next day in my notepad and cross them off as I finish them. Focus mode also works great with my Apple products, but for reference, I have both my Samsung S22 Ultra and iPhone 13 Pro face down at my desk. As of right now, these are my 2 daily drivers, and I am doing a day in the life review for you guys on the S22 Ultra, so if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe, make sure you turn on your post notifications, and like this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm. Next to my timer, we've got these refillable to-do list cards from Notsu, which I love using, as well as my Google Nest Hub 2nd Gen, which is by far the best smart display out in today's market for its size and price. I've tried them all, and I do have the Nest Hub Max as well. It just didn't look as good with this setup because of its massive size. I can't recommend this thing enough. It does have a beautiful display, the software is responsive and actually works, and Google Assistant has been my favorite to use for pretty much everything. She even taught me a few recipes. My headphones of choice, if I ever need to use them, are the Beats Fit Pro, which we did review a few months back. Now these are absolute fire and my favorite set of earbuds for anything that I plan on doing. Whether it's gaming, editing, working out and listening to music, the Beats Fit Pro should be everyone's go-to set of earbuds. Full review will be linked down below for you guys. Moving on from the Google Nest Hub 2nd Gen, we have the Seagate FireCuda 2TB external SSD and my Sony CF Express card reader. The Seagate has been one of my favorite go-tos over the past year when it comes to external SSDs. It does have read and write speeds of up to 2000 megabits per second, and it is pretty much as fast as it gets for an SSD that doesn't support Thunderbolt technology. Now, if I do need something faster with Thunderbolt tech, I still hands down would go for the Samsung X5 over everything else. The FireCuda also has a customizable LED light on the outside along with full support through its software. The CF Express card reader on the other hand has been my go-to for everything since it launched alongside the Sony a7S III. It comes in at just over $100 and has worked perfectly for me since day one. Now I do tend to use it less and less as time goes on because now you can transfer your files directly from your camera to your M1 Max, MacBook Pro, or your Mac Studio with just one cable. Now it does take a little bit longer to transfer those files, but it's nice having one less thing you need to spend money on cluttering your desk. Now we do have a third display in this setup, believe it or not, and it's my 6th gen iPad mini along with its Apple Pencil and Smart Folio keyboard. Perfect for signing documents and small tasks such as taking notes, or if I'm just checking out the market in the morning or even watching YouTube TV. The iPad mini has quietly become my favorite iPad over the past 6 months. Now if Apple can just give us a higher refresh rate and a stacked camera system, I feel like that would seal the deal for most content creators out there. Hopefully we'll see something like that in the next refresh. Heading over to the other side, we have my M1 Ultra Max Studio with a 20-core CPU, 64-core GPU, and 128 gigabytes of RAM. For storage, I went with the 2TB option this time around, and as far as performance and ports go, this thing is an absolute beast. I love the fact that we have 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports on the front now, along with a built-in SD card reader. The back of the machine gives you everything else you could possibly ever ask for, and I can't tell you guys how excited I am that Apple gave us everything that we did ask for in such a small form factor that's this quiet. Now from both sides, you can see these magnificent pieces of art that I picked up from the Louvre Museum when I was in Paris. I'm just kidding, I got these from IKEA. But Paris was beautiful, I was there last summer, can't wait to go back. For lighting, we stay consistent throughout all of these setups. This one in particular has the LED bulbs that I mentioned from IKEA along with a set of Hue play lights. Controlling everything through the Hue app makes it super easy to set your favorite colors and schedules within seconds, giving you the best overall experience for any setup. Now the only cable we have in this setup that's visible is the Thunderbolt cable running from my Mac Studio to my Studio display, which honestly you can't even see when you're sitting in front of the display itself. But it's worth mentioning because if I don't, someone out there is going to say, "Bet you have one cable." You guys get what I mean. The Studio display itself is beautiful, I won't hold that back. A 27-inch 5K display with a built-in webcam and the best speakers you will ever hear come out of any display, hands down. All powered by an A13 Bionic chip. But is it worth the money? We'll have a separate review here on it in the next week or so, but for now, it looks great with this setup. There's a lot more we need to cover aside from just that lower refresh rate, and I'll do it for you guys in the full-on review. And that then brings us to my chair. In this setup, I went with the Hyken, which in my opinion for the money is the best office chair you could possibly pick up. It's as close to a Herman Miller as you can possibly get without spending $2,000. In fact, this chair only comes in at $200 when you pick one up on Amazon. It goes great with this setup, and it also provides you with the back relief you need on a budget. But you know what? I'm super curious to know what your experience has been like with the Mac Studio and the Studio display, along with what you actually think about this particular setup. Let me know down below where you'll also find the links to everything that we covered in today's video. If you want to see more, make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DetroitFury. And if you enjoyed this content, please make sure you smash that like button for me, subscribe, turn on your post notifications. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in my next episode. Peace.